thank you so much, Brannon. Honestly, I mean, did anyone else just feel at home watching that? You know, it just really felt warm. We're not in a massive depot. We're all in our living rooms, really, watching with Brannon. Brannon, I am going to throw it over to the audience, but I just wanted to ask you, who is that film for?
The first answer is it's for my mom, because she's my biggest supporter, and I love her dearly, and she was the only parent that was supportive of this entire endeavor and never told me to grow out of it. My dad didn't really feel the same way, which is okay, whatever. But then it's also for whoever is in the audience, whoever felt alone and felt like you were weird. You're not weird. I mean, we're a little weird, let's be real here. But you're not weird. There were so many people that came up to me and said, especially at the US premiere, I wish I'd had this film 10 years ago when my parents didn't quite get it. And so it's for you, you know, you're never alone. People are always going to be with you in whatever cause that you're a part of. And it's always cooler if it's with Thomas.
And I suppose my question for you is, what is the most surprising discovery that you made during the film? Actually, maybe about yourself.
I was amazed at how much patience I had with editing this thing. But more importantly, I was very surprised to discover how many people wanted to come forward with it. Because I think, you know, speaking personally, sometimes you do want to keep it a secret. You don't want to be open about it. But most people in this film, I mean, you have a ton of names, whatever, they wanted to celebrate it, and I think that was great. It was surprising.
It's amazing as well. I mean, trains. What do you think the deep universal appeal? If we go beyond the faces, they chose to put it on trains. What's the deep universal appeal of trains, do you think, culturally?
I think it's very tangible, and they're huge, and you know, it's kind of like everyone can appreciate a good car. I'm not a car guy, but if I see a Ferrari, I'm like, yeah, that's cool. When I see Flying Scotsman out there, I'm like, I don't know a whole lot about trains, but I'm like, that is huge. You have respect for this giant creature, if you will. And then, you know, especially here, train culture is so big that you have respect for it.
Well, I suppose that brings me to my next question. I mean, given the US's sort of car-centric culture, that accounts for sort of it accounts for a strong, unlikely attachment as well, I suppose. You know, passenger train is much less prevalent and culturally central than, say, in Europe or Asia. It's wonderful that it's found its way over to the States, but what do you think? How did that happen, do you think?
I think, at least, like, you're right, train culture in the US is not the same here. I think all of us are aware of that. I mean, this is my second time in the UK. I'm still shocked how easy it is to get around here. If I wanted to go somewhere back home, I'd have to get in my car. I don't want to do that. But with Thomas, I really think it just came down to the source material was just that damn good. You know, and the character's relatable. And it's just colorful, and at the end of the day, everyone can appreciate a nice, bright blue train.
And there's something really powerful, I think, about connections and what trains represent. It's connections and relationship, and as you mentioned, it's very tangible. I just want to say thank you very, very much. I had a bunch of other questions that I won't bore anyone with, at least you, but I'm cried. I don't know if anyone else cried. Did anyone cry? Yeah. So I think we should probably give it to the audience. Does anyone have any questions? I think this gentleman here does.
All right. First of all, lads, great effort with what you've got there. That was brilliant. But for my question, how do you feel about Mattel and their more recent attempts? So you've got All Engines Go, and the most recent release, to my memory, is the Dovetail Train Sim World DLC, where they have Thomas on the Heritage West Somerset Railway on your gaming device. How do you lads feel about the modern efforts for Thomas, and do you think that All Engines Go has done harm to the community or any good to it?
To talk about All Engines Go, and I'll keep this very brief for everybody here. I think Thomas has to stay relevant, and it has to evolve. I may not necessarily enjoy that particular iteration of the show, but there is some kid out there that does. And in 20 years down the line, he will be up here doing the exact same thing that we're doing. I think that's the best part. And Dovetail Games knocked it out of the park Love it. Congratulations.
Thank you. And just that very fetching gentleman with the very long arm.
I am the one from Dovetail Games who made that, so I am the person who helped write that, so that's one of the reasons. But I was going to say, well done. I think, as you say, 10 years ago it was needed, and I know there's a lot of people who've struggled, trying to admit that it's a thing. A lot of people are neurodivergent, and I think it's great that you went into that as well. I think one of the things I was going to ask is, where do you see the fandom going from here? Because I've never known the fandom to be in such a good place. Like, I feel it's stronger than it ever has been. The community side, going to Audrey X like this year for the first time, it's just incredible.
No, I mean, you're right. Like, Audrey Extravaganza is a great effort. The fact that fans are involved with Dovetail, fantastic. We have this film now, which is great. I don't see what's stopping us from working on the new show or whatever's going to come next. Say there is a new show. What's going to stop the fans from getting involved? What's going to stop a fan from directing the Thomas movie? What's going to stop a fan from being involved at Mattel with the brand? We've already seen one of the guys here, Mr. Tom Binham, was a part of the official 80th anniversary podcast. So, hey. So as you can see, clearly we are being taken seriously, and I think that's great.
Good to hear. I think we have we'll come back to this side. I think we've got to go that side. There's a man in a hat that I'm really jealous of. Did you get it here? You did, didn't you? Yes.
If the pilot had released the same time you were working on this, would it have had a mention in the film?
Absolutely. The pilot's awesome. Sometimes I wish I could go back and add more to this film, but I shouldn't. Bad habit. So, yeah.
I think this very insistent man with the beautiful hair.
What are your thoughts on the Thomas fandom's overlap with other fandoms? Do you think it hurts or helps the brand?
I always love it when I'm in other subcultures on the internet and I see our people. I'm like, all right, there we go. I think it's great because it also is nice to just have other interests, and maybe the effect that the Thomas fandom has will echo into other fandoms. Hopefully it does.
Yes, I think that also just speaks a little bit to opening up and how Thomas helps everybody make a connection and open up a bit more. So it's just a dovetails. There we are.
Dovetail.
I think that we should have the lady in the back there.
Hello, thank you. First of all, thank you very much for making the film. It was very interesting. I was going to ask a question about the autism connection, but you've already talked about that. And then I was going to ask a question about the more subversive things on YouTube where Thomas goes dark, but you covered that as well. Instead, what I wanted to ask is, I know in recent iterations of Thomas, there have been characters from other countries. There have been Indian trains, for example, and some people have welcomed them and the messages of acceptance and whatever, and other people have been less happy, like saying things like, I'm not being racist, but Thomas the Tank is British, you should have British engines. So I was wondering, have you ever had an encounter where people have liked Thomas like you, but they also have views you disagree with, and how do you handle situations like that? Because that kind of discussion really fascinates me. And I'm sorry if it's a bit dark for this otherwise wonderful celebration of the fandom, but it's been on my mind and I wondered what you thought of that.
I have disagreements all the time with these people, but I love them, to be clear. No, I don't like the people that are afraid of Thomas having, cultures introduced, like with the Big World, Big Adventure show. But no, I think when you deal with a community that can really let anybody in, you're going to have people that come in there and cause trouble. And you just kind of have to, I use my mute button on Twitter every day at this point. So that's how I do it. I just don't think about it.
Also, what would Thomas do? There you go. Aha, what would Thomas do? So, next question. I think just because we're going to take this gentleman, is that a Hawaiian shirt in Derby?
It might be, I have no idea to be honest. Lads, brilliant film, loved it. Denim, snazzy as always. Brannon, snazzy as always. Do you have any regrets with the film? Is there anything you wish you did differently or something you wasn't able to do?
I want to apologize to every British person in the room because I know it is heavily American. I'm going to admit that.
Don't apologise. We're actually very. Come on. Look, we're in England. No, come on. Woo, woo.
Thank you. I wish I could have just included everybody. So many people have great stories, but you do have to sort of draw the line at some point. You know, if this couldn't be a 2-hour thing, I think all of us would be asleep by now, honestly. But I guess I wish that I could have done this earlier. You know, especially, we've got fans involved with the show now, but I feel like this could have happened earlier if this film had come earlier. Yeah.
Okay, I think that we have to think about a last few before we vacate, unfortunately. But yes, I'm sorry. He's going to kill me. I think this gentleman here if I don't take him. Afraid for my life. Yeah, this one. Both of you go. Give him 2 mics.
Once again, brilliant. It really helped me get over some emotions that I had from secondary when I was in school and got bullied for liking Thomas. Really helped me out that. My question to you is, how does it feel now you've premiered it in the home country of Thomas himself? And how much stress release is it?
I might have a really good drink tonight. It feels great. Yeah, it's wonderful, and I was looking for any excuse to come over here, so.
I think that we've enjoyed having you as well, and we've enjoyed seeing this immensely as well. That's a great question as well, and thank you for your candor. On this side, okay, I think we have a minor cameo celebrity right here. This gentleman, yes, with the bandana in the head. This gentleman here.
I have transitioned since that film came out. I'm an hour demigod. Hello.
Oh, hello. Excuse me. Yes.
It's fine. I got 2 questions. First one is just because I thought it was funny. Did any of you notice it said Dolby above the screen?
Oh wow! Look at that.
For those who don't know, C. Reginald Dolby was an illustrator for the Railway series.
Gotta add that to the wiki right now.
And my second question is, in school, I kind of felt like there was a little bit of attitude towards liking Thomas and that, but I felt like in recent years there's been a shift. There's more an appreciation for that thing now when people start to learn more about it, learn about neurodiversity, learn about those anyone who's on the spectrum and how Thomas has helped them grow as a person. Some people have got jobs because of Thomas, but it's basically, do you think there's been more appreciation for Thomas now than there has been, say, 10 years, 20 years ago, or something like that?
100%. I think the internet has really helped with that. I also think a lot of these articles that have been coming out recently have been talking about, like, at least our film. They've all been positive so far. It's not like mocking anybody. And I think, you know, it's just great. I mean, what other fandom could this happen to? You know, let's think about like people like Barney or something. There's Sesame Street. I don't think they're doing the same things that we are. You know, so.
It's also, I think, there's the fandom, and then outside, we've all got ties as well to Thomas in one way or another, and it means something profound to each and every one of us. It ties into our lives and the core values that Thomas has. I think is something that we deign to keep in our value wheel as adults, and I think that's something that really has touched every single one of us, and it really came through in the film. So I just wanted to add that. Sorry. And we've got this gentleman here in the black polo shirt.
Just to say, again, guys, you've done the most incredible job with this film. It has, again, brought us all here to celebrate the love for this little blue train with a face. Again, it's the whole reason why I put it on my arm, because, again, we all love this little engine. But my question really is, if there's one word that you can describe, again, about this show, about this film in general, if there's one word you could describe it in, what word would you say?
Cathartic.
I don't think anything else needs to be said. Well done, yeah. And I think we have time for one final question. Oh, crikey, it's hard, isn't it? I know that you, sir, in the blue hoodie. Sorry, I can't see anything from here. You've been asking, you've been raising your hand, yes, so. The fat controller?
Hello there. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for talking about the creativity of the series, because a lot of people talk about one thing about Thomas is the realism aspect and go on about how accurate everything has to be, but there have been a lot of stories that have ideas that are inspired by reality, but sort of do something that has never happened in reality, like, Rusty and the Boulder, a giant boulder and stuff, but that sort of stuff still works, because in reality, railway history, as much as we try to make sense of it and go on about how accurate this thing is, having looked into it myself, it is incredibly hard to make sense of it. Like, you have two London North Eastern Railway, big express engines, and they were both classified as A1, but at different points in history. But if you look at them side by side, it's like, how do you make that? And I just felt the need to say that. But second of all, seeing as we're at a big event with loads of locomotives, I'd just like to ask, have you had a chance to look at many of them, and are there any of them that you like in particular?
There is one particular engine I saw today that I have been dying to see in real life for a long time, and that, my friends, is Class 40, the diesel.
I think that is a beautiful question to end on. Guys, honestly, take an opportunity to take a picture of this. That couldn't have rounded up better. Thank you very much for your question. Brannon, the producers, thank you so much. For being here. Thank you so much for endorsing this wonderful event, 200 Years of Rail, the greatest gathering, and we are thrilled that we're all here together for this momentous occasion that I certainly won't forget, and I hope you won't. So, thank you for coming. It is the end of the day. Obviously, technically, we are interlopers, so we're not meant to be on the site anymore. So what we're going to do is follow security outside, who will lead you to the exit in a calm and orderly fashion. But the autographs, yes, yes, absolutely. Okay, sure.
Oh, and I got my cool props, Thomas, and the Audrey Thomas Toya in front of the screen for photography, please.
Okay. I didn't quite hear that.
I say that I got my cool props replica Thomas model in front of the screen for some photography for a bit. If it's okay, please.
Yes, well, we do have to vacate the site, unfortunately. But
okay.
Do you have your autograph? And thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming again.
That means I have to do it quick.